Hey Thrivers, you're listening to episode number 12. In this episode, we're chatting interns, how you can benefit from an intern as a businesswoman, and how you can get involved at a local level here in Lancaster. We'll be joined by local educator and internship coordinator Jill Hackman, who manages the internship program at Garden Spot High School. And I'll be sharing my own experience of having an intern for a semester. I can tell you it's been so rewarding on both ends to have an extra set of hands for my business and to know that I'm helping prepare a student for the real world after high school. Later in today's episode, we'll be chatting about the constant work-life juggle and how to monitor what your kiddos watch on the internet in light of recent YouTube kids controversies. Grab yourself a glass of wine or a nice cup of coffee and stay tuned.
Welcome to The Thrive, a podcast for working moms. This is for all the women and moms listening. If you work from home, in an office, run your own business, or are the CEO of your family, this podcast is for you. Because at the end of the day, all moms are working moms. Rachel and Christine invite you to celebrate the victories, get advice, listen to their mom fails, and to know you aren't alone, to thrive in your everyday life.
Today's episode is sponsored by Young and Free Apparel. Young and Free Apparel is an online children's boutique offering adorable clothing for boys and girls, size 0 to 3 months through 8 youth, along with muslin swaddle blankets and accessories. Not only do we love adorable toddler clothes, but Christine and I love supporting local brands. So for our Lancaster listeners, you'll never believe that Young and Free Apparel is based in the little town of New Holland, PA. Their clothing is designed by a mom of little ones who understands what we need when it comes to kids' clothes. Their play suits and sleepers have zippers for easy diaper changes, no buttons, and their girls' dresses and tops are made of durable cotton, so they're easy to wash and never lose their bright colors. Whether you need a unique baby shower gift or you want some cute items for your kids' wardrobes this spring, visit youngandfreeapparel.com to shop. All orders over $25 ship free. No coupon code necessary. Welcome, everybody. This is Rachel.
And Christine.
We're so excited to have with us today a guest that neither of us has a personal connection to. So it'll be a little different than when we have like a friend on the show. I have so many questions. We are joined today by Jill Hackman.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Jill what is your actual job title at Garden Spot?
So I am very much like a career coordinator.
Okay,
yeah, at Garden Spot.
So you work at Garden Spot, or if you're from the area, it's the Eastern Lancaster County School District. Yep. When you see all the school closings and delays come up, I remember I actually went there.
Okay.
So as a kid, especially when I was younger, I didn't understand when we would have to listen to the radio. They would all go in alphabetical order, and I'd be waiting
when
for.
We were young.
Yes, before you could just get it on your phone. But I always thought it should come up under G, but it always comes up under E for Eastern Lancaster County. So That's where she's from, and she, as she mentioned, is the career coordinator. And what we are going to be talking about today is internships. She coordinates internships with high school. Is it just seniors or?
Right now it's seniors. There's a chance in the future that we might expand it to juniors as well.
Nice.
Cool.
And I love people in the world of education, obviously being a second grade teacher, but I love hearing the experiences of students that are in the upper grades. I think it's neat just to hear how education progresses and what's provided for our older kids.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting job because I get to see the real world connections that students are making on a regular basis.
Yeah, and that's so important. I'm excited that you're joining us. We've actually had some other women in business through the communities that we're part of here in Lancaster mention the need for interns, or just, how do I get some extra help, but maybe I'm not in a position to pay someone or to bring someone on full time. So it's been really great that I've been able to connect with you and for you to just be able to share more with our listeners. And our connection, I will mention.
You do have a little bit.
So we do have a little bit
of
a connection here because Jill and I actually communicate weekly because I have an intern right now. And this all happened because my intern is actually my cousin's daughter. So she had reached out to me. As much as I have thought about how great it would be to have an intern, I did not go out searching. It actually worked out really well that Yes, I call her my niece just because
it's easier that way.
Yeah. Her name is Ashley. She had said, hey, I have to do an internship. Like, I was wondering, like, if you could teach me, like, about what you do. And so, yeah, like a year ago, I had told her, sure. Then I got pregnant. And then I was like, oh, no, how am I going to do all this? But it has been such a blessing.
Good.
And, yeah, you oversee what everyone is doing. So.
I do. Yeah, I visit them at least once per semester at their job sites and communicate with the mentors to make sure that the intern is doing a good job and doing what they're expected. But the great thing is the interns are our top students typically, so there's not really a concern from companies with, behavior or academics or attendance. All of our companies have been really pleased with the work that they've been getting.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. Rachel's like, I'm in good hands then. Well, before we get into the nitty-gritty of that program and what you're able to do for your students, can you share a little bit about your family and how you got into the job that you're doing currently?
Yeah, so I actually graduated from Garden Spot too. So I'm not sure. I think I'm older than you, but yeah.
What year were you?
I was 2000.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't until 2007.
Yeah, so my first year at Garden Spot, I was Miss Beck. And I was there 0506. So as a teacher.
Oh man, you could have been my teacher.
That's really scary. But yeah, so
there's a very short age gap there though between like seniors and newly graduated students.
Well, we have a mutual friend whose husband was actually a student teacher when I was in high school. Jessica Moister.
Yes. Oh, right.
Her husband was a student teacher with my like volleyball coach slash like health teacher. Okay. And so,
after you turn like 25, it all becomes like we're all the same.
It is. But I feel like I always make him feel old when I'm like, oh yeah, remember when you were my student teacher?
Yeah, much appreciated. So you started there as a teacher.
Yes. And I was a business teacher there. And technically I'm still in the business department. So I worked a lot with our 9th grade and 10th grade students with basic career exploration. And then from there, we started a co-op program for our seniors. And our co-op program is typically for seniors who are going into the trades. And then I expanded my job a little bit more. It expanded to include internship, and then it's even going to grow even more than that in the next year. And
that's exciting.
I'm very excited about it. I don't totally know what it's going to look like, but we're in the process of figuring that out. But otherwise, I've been married since 2011. We have one daughter. Her name's Avery. She's 4.5. And my husband actually works with Christine's husband. We just found that out. So we kind of have
Small world.
Very strange connections. But
so the three of us haven't hung out together, but we obviously know each other well or have connections a little bit.
That is too funny.
So you are in the working mom world of juggling your home life, your family. Yeah. I know we were talking a little bit about having a daughter in daycare, but also having this amazing program you're a part of, which we're excited to dive into.
Yeah.
So I would love to know, just from like the working mom standpoint, before we dive into the whole internship thing, what is your schedule like as like a school employee? Are you still technically a teacher, or are you more of like a counselor? I was just wondering when I overheard you as I was like getting things ready. I think it was in the bathroom, and I heard you talking about the daycare situation. Mm-hmm. So do you have like a regular teacher schedule?
Yeah. Well, yes. I am still technically a teacher, but my job has evolved because of what I'm doing. I often need to meet businesses when it's convenient for them. So there are times where I do, go to events that are after the school hours in order to make connections. But, technically I'm under the teaching contract, yes.
But obviously your job requires some different tasks that might be outside of the normal teacher schedule.
Well, and I leave campus, and that's really unusual. Mm-hmm. Teachers don't leave campus. So for any reason.
My first year of teaching, I was a hearing itinerant in Pittsburgh, which is when I traveled from school to school.
Yeah.
And it had pros and cons, but I loved being able to just take a step out of the school or be in my car a little bit just to do some thinking and have an office to do work in. It's definitely different than a classroom teacher, but can be really fun.
Yeah, it's very rewarding because
it's very tangible to see the successes that your students are having. You're getting to actually see them grow in their career aspirations and determining which path that they want to take after they graduate. Where when I was teaching, resumes to ninth graders, you're hopeful that they're going to remember this and use this skill that you're giving them in ninth grade, but you're never quite sure. Yeah. So this is much more, it's like building a house. You can see it.
I do remember doing that. I remember like the 9th and 10th grade, like that whole like computer hallway.
Yeah, okay.
Where they had like business stuff too.
That's where I am. I'm in that 1000 wing. Yeah.
I don't know if some of the same people are there or not, but yes, that's so funny you mentioned that. I think my homeroom was there too. And I remember learning like the resume thing so early, and it was like, why didn't I learn that as a senior? That is when I needed it a little bit more, or like a
right
refresher.
after college.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Now, I don't remember my high school having a program like this, and I feel like we've had several guests on our show who have changed their career paths, or maybe what they were studying in undergrad is different than where they ended up.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear how your school operates with this program, how long they've been doing it.
Yeah.
How it evolved.
And just to kind of mention a previous episode, I think it was Shannon Smith from Indoor City.
Yep. I love that you've listened.
Yeah, I love your podcast. But Shannon mentioned that she went to college for something in the medical field, and she was jumping around different types of careers. And then till she finally, landed to where her passion is with, I think it's interior design. Is that her? Okay. So, my thought process is, why are we letting that happen post-secondary? All of those twists and turns should be happening in the high school setting before you're wasting money. So why are we letting kids go to college for a year and then dropping out? What a waste. You're not even getting anything. Or why are we letting kids go to college to say, without a plan, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to figure it out. I don't know who I am. And then they're there for 4.5, 5, 6 years before they finally graduate.
Super senior status.
Yeah. I mean, I went 5 years. So because I was kind of navigating that as well. And looking back, it should have been very obvious where I should have been. But as a kid, you don't really see that. So that's my goal, is to help kids take those twists and turns while they're still in high school. And then my catchphrase is career mindfully. So we want them to mindfully choose their career graduation and then pair the education that goes with that career.
That's so smart.
And even if that's not where they do end up, at least showing students at a young age how to think about their career options and their future. I went to school for teaching and I loved it and I still love it. I just don't remember ever having a class or someone saying, well, let's think about all the options.
Right. Yeah, and I often talk to students about jobs versus industry. So kids will look at, they'll say, I want to be, and they mention the career, but they will ignore industries that might be in manufacturing. So, maybe they want to go into marketing, but they would never consider working in a retirement community. And it's because they think, oh, well, that industry won't have what I'm looking for. Or I like to use Webstaurant as an example. Do you know what Webstaurant is? Okay.
I don't.
It's in Lidditz, and it's kind of like an Amazon. They have $1 billion in sales annually, and they sell restaurant equipment.
Yeah, they're like the number one distributor of like restaurant stuff from small items to like, don't they
walk-in
customize
freezers? And
the big things that you need if you're setting up like an industrial kitchen.
Down to like salt and pepper shakers. And if you go into the building, it is like a tech company. Someone might compare it to Google. So there's murals on the wall that are Nintendo, old school Nintendo. They have bamboo all over the place. So it's this really cool environment. But I always tell my students, not one of those people who work there went into their career or saying, I'm going to sell restaurant equipment. So, you have to ignore the industry and think about, just look at the job. Here's where the jobs are. It could be in a retirement home, or it could be in a restaurant company, or it could be in manufacturing. You could be an accountant that works for food production. So you have to think the bigger picture than what the industry does.
And a lot of that too, I think, is getting students to think past what they've seen in front of them, what their family is doing. Because a lot of them say, well, here's a job I might be interested in, or even if it is the industry because that's what they've seen, but they don't know there's other options that could do something similar, a similar skill that might fit them even better. Yeah,
there's just so many. I always struggle with getting kids connected to food production. You know, the kids who are really interested in mechanics, they've been to the mechanic with their parent, or they work on cars with their family members, but you have to get behind the manufacturing walls to get them interested in those careers. So that's another thing that I do is I try to get students tours of companies that they might not otherwise get to see.
That's really true, though, what you said about how, like, a lot of the people working in certain businesses probably didn't grow up saying, like, oh, I'm going to work at the restaurant store.
Right.
Like, when I decided that, like, I wanted to do marketing-related things, and then it turned into, like, okay, I want to do social media. Even then, it wasn't like, I'm going to do social media for solopreneurs who are Instagram stars because they sell glasses. Right. That came to me because I follow, who is it? I can't think of her name, but she does those like the LED glasses for people that are on their computer all day.
Oh,
and
that's
she's like she's made this into this great big company, and she's just like a mompreneur. Anyway.
Yeah.
But when I went into that, like when I went into social media, it was like, okay, well, I might be doing social media for, you know, my husband's business, which is septic companies, or I also do social media for like a dentist office. And when it comes to websites, like I know web design, and I don't just work with one industry. Like at some point I might, you know, maybe you do specialize, and I only do websites for, you know, wedding people.
Sure,
I mean, it'd be great to do pretty websites all day long. But at the same time, if I have somebody that's going to pay me to do a big project, and like this summer I did a site for like a medical device company. Yeah, you have to keep your options open. Yeah, you really do. And there's so many opportunities in Lancaster. So another, you know, kind of weird niche of Lancaster, if you eat at Taco Bell, 90% of Taco Bell's cheese is made in New Holland. No way. Yes. So, I mean, that's at Advanced Food Products in New Holland. So
like all of Taco Bell's cheese?
Yes. It's made in New Holland.
Alouette cheese is in New Holland, right? The French company?
Yes. And then there's Savencia and Advanced Food Products. They're all sister companies. Okay. But they make 90% of Taco Bell cheese. So there's so many really niche companies here, and so much opportunity, ranging from careers that require, I would say, a high school diploma and a certificate, the whole way up to a doctorate degree. So there's just a really exciting amount of opportunity that's found in our own community.
And you know a lot of businesses.
I do. That's my job.
You have such a wealth of knowledge. So how does that work with you getting or your students in the program getting connected with different jobs and professions? Do they find you? Do you find them?
A little bit of both. So I guess it depends on which program we're talking about. And there's co-op, as I mentioned earlier, but I guess today we're focusing on internship. So,
well, could you explain the difference? What exactly is a co-op?
So, co-op or cooperative education is typically for students who are going into the trades and most likely will not be going to college. So, I like to stereotype them as they're done with school, but school's not done with them. Mm-hmm. So, those kids are either choosing not to go to CTC or they didn't get into CTC. And a lot of them feel like they already have a significant amount of skills that they don't need to go to CTC, and they think they can get the training from their company.
And can you, what does CTC stands for?
Career and Technology Center.
Because I know some people listening who may not be local here might not know those acronyms. But
and it used to be known as VOTEC.
Okay.
Yes.
So most areas probably have something that might still be VOTEC, or maybe your area calls it something different. But I know in this area, pretty much all the schools in the county go to one, right?
So yes, there's the Lancaster County Career and Technology Centers. There's 3 campuses. Okay. There's the Brownstown, Willow Street, and Mount Joy campuses, and they each specialize in something different.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because I did have some friends in school that had done that route.
Yeah.
And a couple of them were girls that they went to the CTC for, like, cosmetology.
Yeah, they just canceled the cosmetology program. Something to do with the number of hours that you have to get certified. And they were always struggling with getting the hours in. It's a significant amount of hours. But there are many other opportunities. There's a significant amount of opportunities for high school students and adults. You can go back to the CTC as an adult and get certifications.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Could you just give an example of what some of those things might be?
Yeah, so you can get your CDL license.
Truck driving?
Yeah. So
Nice.
I have actually 2 students that got their CDL license last year while they were still in high school. And we have a grant program that we go through. It was completely paid for. And that was through the CTC and the Mount Joy campus.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that all falls under the co-op experience that you were mentioning.
Yep.
But then the internship one is a little bit different where
Yeah.
you're working with businesses.
Yeah, and I guess another big differentiator is the number of hours. My co-op students, they have to work a minimum of 15 hours. So most of those students are leaving at like 10:30 in the morning. They're leaving school. And then a lot of my kids are working up to like 25 to 30 hours a week.
They're working like legit part-time jobs and getting that hands-on training.
They're in a career. My goal is once they turn 18, they're in their career that they'll stay at for, 5 or more years.
Well, the CDL thing is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a listener and you have a son that like doesn't know what he wants to do.
Or a daughter.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
But I feel like that's something just because I hear about this at home all the time.
Yeah.
Like as my husband's business is growing, they get a lot of interest. They get a lot of qualified people, but the one thing they might not have is their CDL.
Right.
And so they could drive along with somebody as like a helper, and in their line of work, sometimes they need 2 guys for the jobs that they're doing. But what they need is somebody that can do it on their own, because that just gives you such a leg up. And then that person, if they can drive on their own, they can be on call.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, that's really cool that they get to do it for free, and they would have that.
My students have this grant opportunity.
Right.
There is a grant if you qualify from CareerLink. CareerLink in Lancaster is a really great resource. I work with them a lot. They have incredible job fairs that are for adults. Check out your local CareerLink. There's a CareerLink in every county that I'm pretty sure there's one for every county. They offer a lot of services to help people get jobs and maintain jobs.
Cool.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the internship
Sure.
program.
So the internship program is, I'll kind of stereotype the students. These are our college-bound students. They love school. They, are often AP students. They're taking AP courses or honors, and they are passionate about a particular career, and they're looking for experience. The hour requirement, this is just 1 block a day. So the number's kind of odd. It's we have 80-minute blocks. So 5 80-minute blocks is 6 hours and 40 minutes. So that is the weekly requirement is 6 hours and 40 minutes.
Sometimes at school you're run by a schedule like that.
But that's the minimum requirement. So if a company would like them to stay longer and the student agrees, that's completely fine. But the goal is it's a win-win, so that the student is gaining experience in the industry that they're interested in, and then the company is also getting an extra set of hands to help them with regular daily operations or with a special project. So I could give an example if you like, because I think the example is what really shows people what it could be.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a marketing example. I have a student, Mandy. She works at Garden Spot Village, or her internship is there. It's unpaid. The internships can be paid or unpaid. And her internship job title is storyteller. So she would really like a career in writing.
That's so neat.
Yeah, and she has gotten the opportunity to interview residents. They have a magazine. Garden Spot Village has this beautiful magazine. So they're getting ready to post. I think they have it's quarterly that they print.
And is this for retired or elderly?
Yes.
Okay.
Garden Spot Village is like a beautiful
retirement
community outside of New Holland, which is great because it's right near the high school.
Yeah, it's very close. So she interviews residents, and they're right now they're writing. They have the residents have a lot of clubs, so they're going to write about all their clubs for this next magazine that they're publishing very soon. And she has maybe 2 articles that are going to be published in the magazine, and then they have a blog too. So you can tell her writing level and ability is high quality. Otherwise she wouldn't be getting published. So that's one thing that Garden Spot Village is getting out of it, is another set of hands to help them prepare for this magazine. And then Mandy got to see what it's like to have your writing ripped apart, and by an editor. And she told me she's learned about developing her voice and writing in a specific voice that the publisher is telling her she needs to write in.
Yeah.
She's participating in a lot of meetings with the
so
writers.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's been an excellent experience for her. She feels like she's a little bit ahead of her peers for college. And Garden Spot Village is really benefiting as well because they're getting more assistance.
That's huge. I can just imagine being able to share that in a college interview, being able to say, or even bring with you, this is a copy of my work that through my internship I was published. And that's so cool. I sometimes, being in marketing, I think people don't realize how much writing is required. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you're not a strong writer, it can be difficult, like you said, to find that voice. That's something... Right. So Ashley, who's my intern, that's something we're working on just for social media. Like every single post is an example of your writing. And if you're not exemplifying your client's voice, you might be posting a great picture, but people might look at it and be like, is that from the right business? Yeah. Like, would they say something like that? That's really neat. And I just love that.
Yeah. Another example, I have a student who's at... an audiology company in New Holland, Sarah, and it's one doctor. Her name is Dr. Horan, and her assistant. So Sarah was thinking speech pathology, and now because of this internship, she's changed her idea. She's going to college to be an audiologist. And if she didn't have this experience, she would have had to go through those twists and turns in college. So she's figured it out before she graduated.
And something that really resonated with me, what you said about your one student who was ripped apart by an editor and participating in meetings. Yeah. I've had several student teachers come in my classroom, and one of the things I feel like they get the most experience in is just working with adults and being in a professional setting. I know when I student taught, I was able to do it the whole year. It was actually an internship program that Penn State had, a partnership with our local school district. And that was huge for me, learning how to sit in a meeting with other professionals and even lead parent-teacher conferences and have those conversations. Yes. Because those are the parts of a job I think get maybe under talked about. So it's not just the skill set, but it's how do you have a conversation? I've even had some people tell me they think like talking to parents on the phone maybe is the hardest thing for them, or having a meeting. But it's a skill that has to be developed. Yeah. So for a 17-year-old to learn how to do that or start to learn is so valuable. Because I feel like that doesn't... There's little experience for that otherwise.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I just have one more question about it.
Okay.
Because I think the biggest thing people have asked us is, like, how do I get an intern?
Sure. Yeah.
So, like, if somebody's listening, if you're local, unfortunately to our listeners that aren't local, you'll have to find a program like this in your area. But for our Lancaster businesswomen, how can they get connected to potentially having an intern maybe sooner than later, or maybe for next semester? How does it work?
I have a website. Should I share it now or wait till the end? Okay, it's gspathways.org. So it's GS like garden spot, pathways.org. There's a tab on the website that is just for employers. So there's tons of great information on the website. Or you can reach out to me. I'm not sure when this will be released, this episode, but
in March. So you have some things coming up.
I have an internship fair on March 13th. So I'm guessing it will be too late to participate in that. But that doesn't mean you can't participate next year. The internship fair is a great way for companies to actually interact with the students and make connections. And then you will have an idea of who might be a really good candidate ahead of time.
Is that something that your school does every year?
This is the second year I'm doing it. Yeah. So I plan to do it more. I would say those are probably the biggest ways of just reaching out to me and coming to the internship fair. We are looking, the purpose of the fair is for current juniors to find internships for their senior year. So I know it's March and school doesn't start till August, but we like to get the process started early so that way they can fill out applications. I have a generic application that businesses can use and edit and change. And then I always tell the companies to interview the kids who apply, because if it's not a good connection, there's no pressure to take them. So just because you came to the internship fair doesn't mean you have to take anybody. But like I said before, all of my companies have been really happy with the experience that they've had.
And so the students doing it, they're getting credit? Obviously, it's like during a whole block. So
yeah, so they get 1 credit each. If it's a 1 semester commitment, if you'd like to expand it to 2, you can.
And is that half a year, a semester for you guys?
Yes. And they do get credit, but typically the students can leave school around noon or 12:30 and then go to their internship.
Nice.
Oh, and they don't need to go every day. 6 hours and 40 minutes. So they could go 2 days a week or 3 days a week is typically what I've been finding is best.
And that sounds like that's just another part of your job, is not only helping the students, but getting companies set up so that they know what's expected of them, and just really monitoring and watching over that whole process.
Yeah, I will say that all the information I got, because on my end, I'm like, I work for myself. Like, it's not like I have like a HR department that's going to like handle this internship.
You are the HR department.
So I was like, what am I getting into? And all the communication has been really helpful.
Great. Oh, good.
It's all been outlined really well, and it's been helpful having someone. Like, it's been really nice just being able to show her how to do things, and I feel like it's kind of streamlined some of my processes, because when you have to explain something to someone else, you're like, oh, well, like, why am I doing that extra step? Like, let's just have you do it this way. And it's been really fun.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that. I am coming to visit her, I think, on the 18th, so I'll be back.
Yep, you'll be back. Well, I can't wait to talk to you a little bit more just about the whole work-life juggle as a working mom. And you also are a girl mom.
Yes.
So we'll be back in
good company.
We'll be back in just a couple minutes. As a mom, I love dressing my kids in clothes that look cute, but also clothes they love. We recently purchased some items from Young and Free Apparel, and not only did they fit perfectly, my girls feel like princesses when they're wearing them. I also snagged some cute items in size 0 to 3 for our little man who's not here yet, and I'm saving the cuddle suit for his coming home from the hospital outfit. Young and Free Apparel is a children's clothing brand founded by a husband and wife duo who are in the midst of raising 3 little ones. Each item is designed by a mom who knows what other mamas are looking for when it comes to clothing for our toddlers. Tops and bottoms feature high-quality stitching and durable fabrics that will hold up after countless washes. And as much as I love trendy items, I prefer classic pieces that my girls can wear again and again, which is why Young and Free Apparel has become an instant favorite of mine. Whether you need a unique baby shower gift or you want some cute items for your kids this spring, visit youngandfreeapparel.com to shop. And remember that all orders over $25 ship free, no coupon code necessary. Welcome back. This is Rachel.
Oh, and Christine still. And Jill.
Hi. Yes, we have Jill Hackman with us today. We're talking about internships and just being more career-minded in high school these days. And we also want to talk to Jill a little bit about mom life, just because she is also managing this working mom juggle.
Quite a juggle. It's a whole different world.
So you mentioned that your daughter is 4.5.
Yes, she's 4.5.
Will she be 5 soon, like going to kindergarten, or not until the next year?
Yep, we are in that. I just registered. You register them online. I registered online today, which I didn't realize.
Oh man!
Wow.
Yeah. So
Times have changed.
So I just completed that this morning.
Because she'll be there next year.
Yes. So in the school district that I live in, it's half day. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to figure out the half day. We're going to need a new daycare, the busing, we leave for work really early. So if we get morning, we're still going to need morning care. If we get afternoon, we're going, it's complicated, but I'm sure we'll come up with a plan. And make it work.
And you had said Avery, like, she obviously knows this is going to happen and has asked a few questions about kindergarten.
Yeah.
Do you feel ready for this whole change?
Yeah, it's exciting. I think she's excited. She said she's excited, but I don't think she really knows what it means.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot about the school bus. She really likes the school buses, but she's never been on one.
Yeah, I love it. In the mind of a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I said to her, okay, you're going to go on the school bus, and she said, okay, great, but you're going to go with me, right? So, it's going to be a lot harder than I anticipated.
Do you have any like neighborhood kids that she'll get the bus with, or
potentially? We're not, but we may not all get kindergarten like the morning or the afternoon. We might not all be on the same schedule, and some of them are stay-at-home moms, so they might drive their kid. So I don't know. It's complicated, and car seats and all the other thing. So yeah, we're just navigating this, and we'll figure it out, I guess, after we find out if we get morning or afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's
things
a lot.
I haven't even considered yet.
I know.
I was just excited because I actually screenshotted it and sent it to Kyle. Our youngest is going to be doing like a 2-day like toddler preschool next year. And I was like, she got accepted. Not that I thought she wouldn't, but it was like, oh my gosh, we just got the confirmation email. Like I put the deposit down.
That's still a milestone.
Yeah.
Yes. Like a new change for her.
Oh yeah, because she's so cute. Like when we go in to drop off Reagan, like she's always like, my class. I'm like, no, maybe next year.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it'll be great next year. I actually, I don't know if your daughter this year, is she in like a pre-K?
Yeah. Well, our daycare has the pre-K built in. Yeah.
So how many days is it like actual school, like, or is it every day?
Every day. Yeah.
Okay. Because at this preschool we go to, there's a couple different options. It's not childcare, so it's like, it's just preschool. And they have like a 2-day, and then next year for pre-K, she could do a 3-day. Okay. And they even have like a 4-day, like an extended one for people. Nice. For working moms, it's probably great. But with my working schedule, I don't know. I've just decided we're going to keep her on the 2-day because then her and Rowan will be on the exact same schedule.
That's nice.
Otherwise, I just felt like I'd be running
right, exactly, yeah.
Well, oh, go ahead, Jill.
No, so we also she has to take a test, which I'm like, okay, yeah. So there is an evaluation that's coming up soon too.
Know what they know.
I know.
So you can place them in the right.
Yeah, it's just crazy how we're getting into real formal education. So it's exciting, but also. I still want her to be a kid and still be creative, and I guess that's my fear. Even though I'm in education, you just hear these things of, oh, they go to school and then as they get older, they don't like school anymore, or they lose their excitement, or I don't know. So I'm sure it'll be great, and I'm sure I met the teachers and they seemed like incredible, exactly what you would want kindergarten teachers to be. So.
Where's she going?
Ephrata. The Clay Elementary.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was excited. I don't let her use technology. So there they have like 5 computers. So it's not enough that they're all on computers. That's another thing that I'm just not ready to navigate is technology.
Well, good for you for holding out. I mean, like, my daughter even watches TV sometimes, but it sounds like that's
TV.
not her.
We watch TV.
But that's not her go-to activity all the time.
Yeah, we just don't use devices, I should say. So
that's smart.
It's
but it's
well, to each their own,
Well, and
I say that because I have gone the other route, and like sometimes I'm like, oh man, we did this too soon. Well,
and
now I can't take it away.
With Jill and I having children in daycare, so when Nora comes home, I don't feel as bad, I guess, watching TV because all day long she's playing. Right. So we don't have the, added stressor that you do, Rachel, of like having to entertain them as much. Yeah. We have, like, Nora is go all day. They're doing the crafts, the books, going outside. And so when she comes home, it's like, okay, let's sit, snack,
Right.
watch something.
Same. We do the same thing. I'll let her watch about a half an hour of TV when we get home, if she wants to, and then
Nora's watching HGTV with me, so it's not like all cartoons.
Yeah. There's a lot of good kids shows on Netflix. I've found.
There are.
There are. They're really good quality.
Yes, I do. I do try to limit it, but like you said, it's true. Like the days that my girls have like the babysitter all day, like our babysitter's amazing. She does fun things with them. What we've started doing too is like we'll swap car seats so she can take them places.
Oh, nice.
And they love that. Like especially now that it's going to be getting nicer out, and especially with the baby coming, I want to keep the same schedule, and the baby will obviously stay with me. I feel like that newborn stage is pretty easy to handle. Like I don't mind having like
your toddlers running around.
Yeah, like if she can just still take them somewhere, like to the park or the library. Or this week, Reagan had gotten like a free pretzel coupon for like the Philly Pretzel Co. So they went there, and like I just feel like they're entertained, like you said, and they're with not technology, but like with cool things or activities when they have childcare. And then I mean, on preschool days, I don't feel so guilty either because Reagan has been in preschool all morning. And then on Thursday, she has ballet right afterwards. But some of these days, like Fridays, and this Friday, it was snowy. Yeah. So
I
trying to figure something out all day long. We, last summer, had gotten the girls just kids' Kindles. And they are only allowed to have them, like, if we were going on, like, a long road trip or something. Because our car doesn't have, we don't have a minivan. I know you want one, Christine.
It's coming.
And that would be the positive. In fact, we've been looking.
It's not the only positive. Do you have a minivan, Jill?
I don't. I only have one kid, though.
Okay, so here's the thing. I mean, my husband's on board with this, but, like, you have tried to get a car seat baby carrier
in the doors.
Or having a toddler swing open the door and hit something. When I try to tell my husband that, I'm like, you try it, let alone be pregnant, try to, like, shove my child in it when there's no room to open the door. I'm like, it's so awkward.
That is true. That's why I love Costco. I'm convinced that spaces are bigger.
They are a little bit bigger. But not everywhere you go. Or, you know, someone parks so
nice
close.
And big.
Yes,
too.
and the carts have 2 seats.
Yes.
I don't know what I'll do when we have a third one, but...
You'll be wearing that, baby.
Yes. But my point was that because our car does not have TVs, we decided Kindles would be like a good route.
Yeah, so good.
And what I like is that with like the free time app, that comes, it's like the Amazon app for kids. You can program it to like what their age is, so that if they are seeing games and things, that it's only things that are appropriate for their age. And then you can also set timers on it. So you can set time limits if we do give them to them at home. It will automatically go off. And then she'll bring it to me and be like, it died. And I'm like, oh, what a bummer. We'll have to charge it.
You're done.
That's awesome. I didn't realize all of those features were available.
Yeah, like
That's
those
so
are
nice.
great. But the thing that I feel like I wish I could backpedal on was YouTube.
Okay.
My husband and I have made the mistake of, like, if we're at a restaurant and we just, like, need them to be quiet or something, letting them have our phones and putting, like, YouTube Kids on, which you can also set age limits. And I feel like because ours are so young, like, they don't get a whole lot of...
But YouTube still, like, worries me.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Like, it worries me because I've been seeing all these things in the news lately about some of these things that will pop up in the middle of, like, a kid's thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen much, like, because they're only 2 and 3, like...
Can they go on Netflix on your phone? Do you have Netflix?
Yes, but the problem is sometimes we don't have good Wi-Fi. I guess we could be more intentional about, like, downloading.
Well, you can on your Kindle. My brother does that for my nieces, or my niece. They just download things off Amazon Prime, and then she has those few episodes to watch, and then they just redo it when they get their internet.
That's what we need to be better about doing. But it's been so easy.
Yeah.
I think it's just easy to default to, like, what's quick. So we've gone into that whole YouTube Kids rabbit hole. Yeah. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we need to get out because that's all they want.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, and even Avery asks for TV all the time. And so we struggle with that too. And I always say, use your imagination, or let's do something fun. We can do a craft. So,
does that usually...
Yeah.
Is that sufficient for her?
Yeah, for now, you know. So, but I think it's a balance, and I found out that, you know, with kindergarten they have an app or a website that we're supposed to be doing over the summer. So I just don't know. I need to open my mind to the educational value. You know, I just hope that there actually is educational growth if we're using it and spending time looking at a screen as opposed to, because I feel like I'd just rather them give me worksheets or give me specific books and vocabulary. I would work on that instead of just handing her a laptop and doing it independently.
I will say with anything, because I've talked a lot about this with my coworkers lately, paper, pencil, a book, technology, it's all how you use it. And so people think there's all this power in technology, and I wouldn't say that that's necessarily true by itself.
Okay.
But it's how you use it and how often you're using it. And as a teacher, I use technology in my classroom, and it's my responsibility to use it well, to follow up with it. If the kids are doing math practice, to look at how they're doing and have a chat with them and say, well, look, you're just pressing buttons. That's not what this is for. And then when they see their positive growth, encouraging them in that. We have a lot of programs we use, but the same is true like a worksheet. I could give them a worksheet. If I don't look at it, if I don't check it or give feedback, it's not helping them learn.
Right.
And the same could be true with a book. So it's a balance. And I get that that's different because you're not... and
I don't know that age group, so
so different.
Yeah, I feel like what you said there though, that is so true. Like the checking in on how they're using it, because I mean this was way back, and I'm sure that there's probably a much more updated program now. But when I was going through elementary school, I remember they introduced this math program that we had to do on a computer, and they were like these 12-minute sessions that we had to do, and no one really checked in on how we were doing it.
Yeah.
Like it was just like a mandatory thing teachers introduced, like if we had stations or centers or something, it was probably just one of the ones that we went to. And like you said, I was the kid that was like, I mean, I was a good student and everything else, but when it came to this stupid math program, just pushing buttons, I would just press like a number, enter, and I would just get them all wrong and didn't care because no one said anything to me about it. Right. And then I got to 6th grade and found out you had to complete this program before you could like graduate elementary school. And apparently, I had some makeup to do because I think like however you did at the beginning of the year, like it would place you. And because I just like put in all the wrong answers to get my session over with, I had to start at like the 1st grade level, work my way back up. So
you're like, I'll be here for a while.
Yep, I had to do it during recess. I remember I had to stay in from recess and do it.
Oh, yes, I might make someone if they're just pushing buttons.
But if my teacher had done what you said and been like, Rachel,
I tried.
What are you doing?
Well, it's like we have so much great technology at our fingertips, but even as the teacher, it's hard to learn to use it well. I try and I do my best, and I know my kids are excited about it. And the fact is, I mean, you see this with your high school students, like our world is changing and it's not where it was. And not only is it changing, it's changing faster.
Yeah.
So all the stuff that's coming up is just evolving so quickly. So
it's just, I just feel like once we start letting her use technology, then it's this app, but then it's going to be the next app, and then it just keeps adding to more and more and more, but there's so much good that could come of it. I even have some students who are fast workers, and on one of their activities, they go on the computer. I think it's Pebble Go. We have a few other ones where they can research things. There's all these articles about animals, places, people, and I don't give them much direction because they don't need it. I told them, go on Pebble Go, research something, write it down. When you're ready, get a poster paper, and you can make a poster about it. And I had one boy come up with this whole poster all about Pluto. And he said, what do I do now? And I said, well, if you want to share it, we'd love to hear. And I said, why don't you write some notes on the back? And he did. And when it came time to share it, he was a little nervous. I said, well, you can just show them what you drew. And he ended up reading his whole paragraph on the back and explaining the picture. And we hung it up on the board.
That's something that he will remember.
And all I did was say, go on Pebble Go. And a few other kids, after they saw him, they wanted a poster paper. I'm like, sure, I have all this construction paper.
Well, that's very entrepreneurial. Awesome. You know, he's taking initiative, and
so there's just, I mean, and that's It's like a whole. There you go, Joe. It's a whole library now. A whole library in one program. And we even talked about what a biography is and showed them how to read about people, or I'll just give them the assignment to just write about it or draw a picture about it. So it's not always just reading a paragraph and answering a question.
Right. Well, that's where I need to.
That is like. That's such a great assignment.
I have just this other side of me that is an educator.
Well, it's good to I'm in education, but I don't know anything about early childhood education. So
I'm right there with you about secondary.
Yeah. So it's good to just be informed and know how it's being used. And it's not not that I would ever think that it's a time filler, but
I hear you.
The more you know, the better you feel about the things that are being done, and you can tell that there's a lot of growth happening there with your students. So that's very exciting.
And if you do introduce it at home, sometimes I wish I could just take technology away, but because we have let our girls have it, we just try to be intentional about what are you watching? Yeah. Especially since we've seen some articles come out recently about the scary things you could come across on YouTube. If they do get that, which we've been really trying to limit, it's only if they are with us. Yeah. If I have a project I'm trying to finish, and so I'm on my laptop, and if one of my girls wakes up from their nap before the other one is awake, and I need to keep them quiet, they will literally sit next to me and be quiet if I'm okay, here's my phone, but I can glance over and see what they're watching.
Right, exactly.
Same thing if we are at a restaurant, they're right next to us. We would know if they're watching something inappropriate.
But that's true with what you're going to put Avery on, is just knowing about it and growing with her. And,
exactly.
It's not going to ever stop in mom life where you're going to be a little hesitant of change or want to be a hawk on what they're doing. But we grow with our kids.
Hello, teenage years. I know. I am not even ready yet.
No, I want her to stay little. Because it's easier to just know what's going on when they're little. Yeah. And as they get older, it gets a lot harder. But you don't want to be hovering either. We need to let them make mistakes, and I think that is going to be hard once we get to those stages. So
that's why you need good mom friends to say you're doing a good job and it's going to be okay.
Yes. Oh, I love that. It's been so fun to hear about your career, but also just have this talk about the fears that we have as moms as our kids get older. I didn't know we'd be talking about technology, but I love where this went, because I feel like a lot of other moms are probably dealing with the same fears, and especially when you have kids in this toddler stage, it's how do you keep them entertained? If they're screaming and you're at the doctor and, in a place where you're I really need you to chill out. Maybe we'll put this up on the site, and we'll talk about it in our stories or something on Instagram. And if you're a listener and you're, got some amazing solution, we would love to know what you do for your kids. Yeah, tell us.
We're ready to grow and learn new things.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming today. I just feel like this has been so useful. I feel like the internship program is something that a lot of local women could benefit from. So the website again, I think I jotted it down. It was gspathways.org.
Yes, plural. Yep, pathways. With an S.
Yes, more than one path. So check that out.
That's so true, Rachel. There's more than one path.
Oh, yes. My wise words of the day. So, whether you're a business owner that works for yourself, or maybe you own a bigger company and you have a department that could use an extra set of hands. I can speak from firsthand experience that it's been really nice and helpful to have an intern. Yeah. I also like feeling that I'm doing something helpful for her.
Yeah. I do promote all the companies on Twitter as well, also at GS Pathways. I realize not a lot of local companies are on Twitter. I probably need to expand to Instagram. But at this point, you can find me there as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming today. And
thank you for having me.
If you want to get connected with Jill, you want to learn more about the program, go to the website, and you can also find links to everything in our show notes when this show goes live.
Yes, thank you for being
here. Thank you so much.
It's so encouraging to hear just the bridge that you're providing for students as they leave education and go into the working world. It's so encouraging to hear.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, and thank you, mamas, for joining us. And in case no one told you yet today, whatever you are doing amazing.
Thank you so much for listening today. You are a part of a growing community of moms, business owners, and women who are here to encourage and inspire. You can connect with Rachel at Rachel Klein Creative on Instagram or rachelkleincreative.com. To keep up with Christine and her latest events, follow her business journey on Instagram at Bellenberry Co. And if you want to be first to know about upcoming guests and giveaways, sign up for the Thrive Podcast email list today. Simply visit rachelkleincreative.com/The Thrive Podcast or follow at The Thrive Podcast on Instagram. If you've enjoyed listening this week or you've already added our show to your favorites playlist, We'd love for you to write us a review on iTunes. Your support and positive feedback allows us to keep encouraging moms and business owners each week.